Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Meet the Counselor series. We are so excited to be here with you guys tonight. I hope you enjoyed a little kind of snapshot of Stockton. In that video, we have a lot more to get into tonight. I know we have students who have applied to Stockton, some students who may not have applied yet, and really everything in between. So we are here to answer all of your questions. Just a few housekeeping items before we hop into all of the exciting stuff. If you could please keep yourself muted throughout the presentation, that would be awesome. If you'd like to leave your video on, you sure can if you would like to, or not, that's totally fine as well. So what we have in store for you today is pretty much going through some general Stockton things. We'll get into the nitty-gritty of any questions you guys have as well. We are hoping to leave some time for some questions and answers with you all as well. And this is your admissions counselor team. So I'll pass it off to Tracy to tell you a little bit about herself.
Hi, everyone. As you see on the screen, my name is Tracy Lisk. I am one of the assistant directors of admission here at Stockton. I have been here since 2012 in this position. So about, 11 years at this point. Before that, I worked at a previous institution, but I was a Stockton student. So as you see, class of 08, BA in literature. So as you could tell, I love to read, I love to write. If anybody has any questions about any of our arts and humanities majors, I'm happy to answer them during the Q&A portion of this at the end of the presentation. So I don't do as much recruitment as I used to. I always like to joke that I have recruited in just about every high school that New Jersey has to offer. So I've covered almost every county, but now in my current role, I handle more of our communications and everything, but I still do like to get out there. So if you are in select Ocean or Monmouth County high schools, such as Jackson high schools, any of the Freehold district, Pineland, Southern, all of those high schools are mine. I refuse to give them up. They are my favorite, so I am a little biased. But I will pass it over to Nick, who handles several of the other counties, as well as the rest of Monmouth and Ocean County.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you, Tracy. Yeah, my name is Nick McKenney. I'm an admissions counselor, as Tracy mentioned, for parts of Monmouth and Ocean, as well as Burlington and Gloucester. If some of you may have seen me at a high school visit or maybe a college fair. I'm very excited to be here. I did receive a BA from Stockton University, so I got a little inside information. I did transfer here, so I spent my junior year living on campus, and then I commuted my senior year. I'm very excited to answer some questions and provide some information, and thank you all for spending some time with us today.
Last but not least, hi guys, my name is Grace Talion. I'm one of our assistant directors over here at Stockton. My background is in businessy, although I may be the least businessy person you've ever met. I did work in the business field a little bit. I worked at another institution, higher education, and business was too cold for me. So I ran back to higher education, and I don't think I'm ever leaving. So I recruit primarily in Atlantic County, Cape May County, and Mercer County. And like Tracy, I have my two schools that are very close to my heart that are over in Ocean County, Central Regional High School. I am a proud Central Regional alum, and also Lacey High School, because you guys are right down the street, and we got to check on those football teams and see how that's going. So if you are a student in those counties and we haven't connected yet, we hope to see you. I hope to see you in your high school. Nick hopes to see you, Tracy as well, and we hope to get to know you a little bit tonight. So I wanted to go over a little bit of what we have in store for you tonight. So a little bit about Stockton generally. We'll talk about our different campuses, our residential life, our academic offerings that we have to offer students. We'll also go through the admissions requirements. Now, if you are an accepted student, I give you permission to zone out for that slide. But for anyone who has not yet applied to Stockton, we will go over the application process and really everything after that. So if we're talking about financial aid, anything really beyond that in terms of next steps, what to do, whether you're at the beginning of the process or towards the end of the process of applying to Stockton. That's what tonight is all about. And ultimately, we want to hear from you. We do all of this because we love our students. So we want to hear any questions that you all have, and we will leave room for that at the end. So a little bit about Stockton for anyone who has not visited our campus just yet. This is a bird's eye view of our campus down in Galloway, New Jersey. So we are home to over 9,000 undergraduate and graduate students. And this is what a lot of folks think of as the main campus of Stockton. So we are a younger university. We recently turned 50 years old. And this is what a lot of folks think of when they think of mom went to Stockton, dad went to Stockton, your neighbors, cousins, whoever. This is usually the campus that they're talking about because this is the one that has been around for a while. So what we're looking at here, I'll just highlight some of our favorites that we have to offer you. We have our Unified Science Building 1 and 2. We also have our Health Science Building down here. Now, when I was doing my college search, that was a parking lot. So these are relatively newer buildings for sure on our campus. We also have our Big Blue Gym. So if you are an athlete, we will also be talking a little bit about our athletic offerings tonight. I'll tell you, I was the complete opposite of that. Again, getting to know your counselor, I was in marching band. So if there's anyone out there, I played the glockenspiel. That's my fun fact on our website. So you might not find me in the gym, but that's okay. We do have our track and field over here, and we have 2 different housing options for you back here. We're going to talk a lot about housing options for students, and they're exactly that. So I work with a lot of students from Atlantic County, a lot of students from Cape May County. Do I have to live on campus? Should I live on campus? It's a personal choice, and we'll talk about all that we have to offer you. But we do have 2 really great locations for you, really centrally located on this side of the campus for you. We also have our campus center. That's the big white building in the center. That's where we're coming to you live tonight. We are all caffeinated. We went down to the Dunkin' in our campus center today, all 3 of us. So there's a lot of different things to enjoy in the campus center, a lot of different offices that are there to help you. And if you have not toured our campus yet, that is where you will start a tour of the Galloway campus. So we'll be sure to put those links over in the chat. So if you haven't signed up for a tour just yet, we can get you over to see all of this in person. And then really everything back here, this is our academic spine snaking all the way behind that campus center and around. Those are your courses outside of the science area. So if we're interested in business or education or psychology or criminal justice, whatever it may be, all of our other schools are housed back there. So there's a lot to get your hands onto. There is a whole other side of our Galloway campus that's not even pictured. So over here on the other side of the lake, we do have a couple of additional housing options for you as a student. So we have housing 1, 4, and 5 over there on the other side of the lake. So a lot to see on your tour, a lot to walk around. It's a very walkable, bikeable, skateboardable campus. And we're again on 1,600 acres of the Pinelands National Reserve. So that accounts for a lot of the beautiful greenery you'll see on your tour if you do choose to come on down and see us, and we sure hope you do. Now, this is our Atlantic City campus. So this is a little bit newer. Everything you're seeing here, we really built from the ground up back in 2018. So we have our academic center right over here, just steps away from the boardwalk, the beach, the ocean, and even closer to the beach is our residential center. So yes, you can live on the beach. We do have our current housing facility over in our Atlantic City campus, and we are unveiling our second housing facility over in AC that will be opening fall of 2023. So that will be open just in time for anyone looking to join us for the fall semester. So a lot of really great things going on over there. We do highlight a few specific programs just because of the proximity to your internships, job placement, things like that. So hospitality, if we're thinking social work, if we're thinking business, there's so many things to get your hands on over in Atlantic City. We even do a really great program for our current students where you can work in Atlantic City, you can take classes, you can live on the beach in the summer in AC. So there's so many partnerships that we've formed over in Atlantic City through this campus. So if you haven't seen the Atlantic City campus, I really urge you to get on over there. It took me a little bit to get over there when I was started here in 2020. It's the middle of COVID, and I finally made it over. I said, wow, this is all the stuff I've been looking at online. We have all of our tours online as well, all the different housing tours, but seeing it in person, I got to tell you, there's really nothing like it. So this is what we can offer you for now, is kind of a little glimpse into Atlantic City. So this is a sneak peek into our housing that is over in Atlantic City. So they are apartment style. We do offer multiple different options, whether that's a single or living with other folks over in AC. And I'll tell you, it's nicer than my house. You get hardwood floors, you get granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, your own bathroom that you would just share with your suite mates. I feel like a real estate agent at this point saying all this, but it is absolutely gorgeous. So again, if you haven't toured our Atlantic City campus, I really urge you to do so. That's not photoshopped out there. That's really the view from some of our rooms over in AC. So there's a lot to really enjoy over there. Now, a little bit more about living on campus, whether you're interested in living in Atlantic City, in living in the Galloway campus, it can look so different at so many schools. So I'd like to kind of go over how we do it here at Stockton. So housing is guaranteed for all 4 years. What does that mean? If you would like to live on campus, we guarantee that we have a spot to put you. If you are not looking to live on campus, that's okay. We do not have required housing. Some schools may require you to live on campus for the first few years, or even, the entire duration of your studies. We do not require that, but we do guarantee it if you would like to live on campus. A lot of students, especially again, working with our local students, do I try it out? When do I try it out? I always tell students, if you want to try out housing, try it out that freshman year. I'll tell you, about 70% of our freshmen choose to live on campus. Our first year students choose to live on campus. So it's a really great way to kind of make friends your first year. Again, you get a lot of choices. So you do get to choose from Housing 1, which is an apartment style on our Galloway campus. That's on the other side of the lake. You get to choose from Housing 2 and 3, which are more of your traditional freshman dorms. Think singles, doubles, triples. That's in very close proximity to the rest of the campus, just steps away from the dining hall, steps away from the gym, steps away from your courses. And then we also have the 2 Atlantic City offerings for you. So again, you can tour all of these options online. And I saw that one of my colleagues put the link over there in the chat. It's really cool. You can click through and see all of these options for yourself. But of course, come tour as well and see them in person. We do have themed living communities. Again, really great way to kind of connect with folks who have similar interests. And yes, you can have your car on campus for all 4 years. So I was on a panel recently, and I was the only state school who confidently answered that question, saying, yes, you can have your car on campus, and you can park it on campus for free for all 4 years. So we have free parking, free printing, free Wi-Fi, free laundry, and free cable. I'll tell you, where I went to school, I don't think any of those things were free. But now my brother is a Stockton student. He enjoys all those freebies. So we pass along the good news, and it's always important to ask these questions when you are looking at schools. And then I am a total foodie. Again, you probably won't find me in the gym. I love marching band. I love food too. So you're learning a lot about me very quickly. We have some really great options. So like I mentioned before, we have the Dunkin' right in our campus center. We have a host of different kind of grab and go options in the campus center as well. So yes, we do have a Chick-fil-A. The rumors are true. That is downstairs in our campus center. We also have a pizza place. We have a burrito place. We have all different things rotating every day. We have a sushi place, all in our campus center. Again, we have that grab and go we have the all you can eat option. That is our dining hall. So we do have that available to students too. And if Dunkin' is not your thing, you heard that and you're like, Grace, it's not my thing. I don't know about that. We do have our beans list that brews Starbucks coffee and offers so many yummy things over there. And most recently, we just opened an Einstein Bagels that is back in our academic spine. I actually went with one of our other admissions counselors, Melanie. We had to try it out for ourselves, and I can give it the stamp of approval. So again, lots of different options on our campus. And then local to our campus, there are a lot of really close places that do take our meal plan. So I just went to Moe's last night. I live in Mays Landing, so I always think of all the Mays Landing places. They take our Osprey card at Moe's, at Applebee's, so many different places in the area. If you're thinking Smithville, Costello, so there's so many places where you can swipe to get a meal from our local eateries too. So very centrally located by some really good stuff. Discover Stockton Day. I really want to invite any folks who have not yet applied or been accepted to Stockton to this open house. So that is coming up on Sunday, March 26th at 11 a.m. And really, you'll be able to do a lot of the things that we just talked about, sample our cuisine, meet our faculty, meet students, take a tour, see those different housing options. There's so many things to get your hands on. So that QR code there, you can also just scan that, go ahead and sign up for the day if you're not signed up already. I know that we have so many students who are anticipating meeting that day as well. If you're an accepted student, we actually have a cordial formal invitation for you as well that will be coming up a little bit later. So hang tight if you're an accepted student, but anyone who hasn't yet been accepted, I'm really going to push you guys to this open house event to check out Stockton. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick to tell you a little bit more.
All right. Thank you very much, Grace. All right. So I'm going to touch a little bit about our academics here. So Stockton University is a 4-year liberal arts school, which means that you will take some courses that are just outside your scope of study. Makes you very flexible. It's a wonderful opportunity to touch on some interests while still focusing on your major and your concentration. So Stockton has over 160 areas of study, including our majors, minors, and certificates. You can kind of mix and match. It's a wonderful opportunity. We have 7 schools of study, including our School of Arts and Humanities, our School of Business, School of Education, School of General Studies, our School of Health Sciences, our School of Social and Behavioral Sciences, and our School of Natural Sciences and Mathematics, which, as Grace mentioned, is in our wonderful brand new natural and health science buildings. At Stockton, what I truly believe sets us apart is that we put students first. We are a very community-centered institution built on respect. We have a culture of respect. If you have an opportunity to come to the open house, I think you will surely see that. As I mentioned, I was a former student here, and that was one of the first things that stood out to me. We also have wonderful opportunities for internships and opportunities to study abroad. So we're a little bit flexible where we can get you outside of the classroom, get some firsthand opportunities and experience, which really makes you a well-rounded student here at Stockton. Something I always point out is that we have a 17-to-1 student to faculty ratio. This is something I can truly attest to. It's phenomenal. What this essentially means is that your professors are going to know who you are. They're going to know your strengths, weaknesses. They're always going to give you an opportunity to ask questions. Again, as a former student, I never found any of my faculty members to not give me the time, and that was really important. Pair that with the fact that 94% of our faculty has the highest degree in what they teach. It leaves you with a completion and a degree to truly be prepared to take the next steps in your career. 65% of our faculty teach full-time, which truly shows the investment from our faculty members here at Stockton. As I mentioned, we put students first, and we highly encourage students to get involved. We have over 200 clubs, organizations, and activities, and this includes diverse and multicultural clubs and organizations. An example that comes on to the top of my head is our Los Latino Unidos club. It's a wonderful opportunity to kind of get involved and be a little bit more diverse within your engagement within our community. We also have opportunities to get involved within the community with many community services. As Grace mentioned, we partner very well with our Atlantic City area and our Galloway area as well. Stockton University is a NCAA Division III sport program. So if anybody is interested in any of our athletics, it's a wonderful opportunity to engage in some serious competition. As I was a student here, I partaked in a lot of our intramural sports as well as club sports. I have to say this was something that really stood out to me and is important. I really loved sports. I love staying fit and active. Our sports facilities are phenomenal. Our Big Blue facility, which you will see if you take a tour or come to our open house, it's a state of the art facility. So much so that NBA teams have utilized it in the summer, which is really saying the capacity that we have here. We also have an I-wing gym, which you will see on the tour. It's full of basketball courts, and underneath is a large area for free weights and cardio. And if you like the outdoors, as Grace mentioned, we sit on 1,600 acres. You have amazing opportunities to go hiking, kayaking, canoeing, biking. Stockton even rents bikes for you to stay active. It's really a beautiful campus. And the nitty gritty, how to apply. Stockton is Common App exclusive. Essentially, you would apply through our Common App. You would complete that application, submit an application fee of $50 or a fee waiver. Myself, Grace, or Tracy would be more than happy to assist you. You'd essentially see a question that says, are you requesting a fee waiver? And we would help push that through on our end. We do need official high school transcripts and an essay. And we recommend 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. And I will pass it off to Tracy, my coworker.
Okay, thank you, Nick. So I get to talk about the fun stuff like financial aid and money. And, once you apply and you hopefully get accepted, obviously then you start thinking about, okay, now I have to pay. Now I have to find a way to fund my education. So Stockton is very accessible. We really pride ourselves on being student first and really trying to keep those costs down as much as we can for students. So on this screen, you see a lot of different kind of logos and taglines. So starting at the top, merit-based scholarships. So every student that applies and is admitted to Stockton is automatically considered for a scholarship. So there's no need to indicate interest. There's no separate application for scholarships. If you apply and you're accepted, automatically considered. And this goes for both first-year students and transfer students. So as you can see on the screen, there is the scholarship website, and that does have a little bit more detail about our scholarships. When we look at a student for scholarships, we're not just looking at your academics. Academics, your grades, your GPA, those are by far the most important component in determining your scholarships. But other things really do matter. Your essay, or your personal statement that you supply with your application, your activities. So think of everything that you're involved in and out of school. So that doesn't just need to be clubs. That can be sports, part-time jobs, any type of volunteerism or community service that you're involved in, awards that you've received. All of this factors in to determining your merit-based scholarship. We'll even look at your family responsibilities because we understand not every student is able to be involved in everything after school because maybe you have a younger brother or sister that you have to go home and you have to care for. So we want to be able to look at everything that you do and award you for it. So the last thing I will say about our scholarships is that they are renewable for all 4 years that you are at Stockton. So they're not just one-time awards. Basically, as long as you maintain a 3.0 in your Stockton coursework and you file the FAFSA annually, you will be qualified to maintain your scholarship throughout the 4 years. So this segues me beautifully into the FAFSA. So for most of you who are on this call, you're probably familiar with the FAFSA. I know school counselors, your parents, probably everybody is, really throwing that term out there a lot. And that's because FAFSA is the federal student aid application. So this is the form that almost every school across the nation will ask you to complete in order to be eligible for need-based aid. So the difference between merit-based and need-based: merit-based is usually determined off of academics, involvement, things of that nature. Need-based is based off of your family's financial situation. And that's where that FAFSA comes in. It pulls in IRS data and tax information and all of this stuff that I won't even begin to pretend like I understand. But it does generate your need-based calculation that will help our financial aid office determine your financial aid offer. So it is very important that if there are current seniors in this call, if you have not yet done the FAFSA, that is your assignment for tonight, tomorrow, this weekend, ASAP, because you do want to make sure you have that FAFSA in. For students that are looking at future terms, next fall 24, fall 25, October 1st, you're going to want to keep that date in mind because every year the new FAFSA goes live on October 1st. So for those of you who might be looking at fall 24, October 1st of 2023 is when your FAFSA will open. But seniors, anybody applying for fall 23, definitely, if you haven't already done your FAFSA, get to it right now. And then our EOF program, this is a state-funded New Jersey program. So this is for students that show high potential to succeed within a college environment, but may not have all of the resources to succeed, to kind of easily reach that level of success. So the EOF program will allow additional funding through the state of New Jersey. It will also offer mentorship programs, networking events. So it really helps those students who really show that they have the potential for college success, but maybe in their high school years and their personal lives maybe don't come from the background that necessarily makes it easy to succeed. So definitely, if you have questions about the EOF program, check out that website. It goes through all of the economic criteria and financial criteria that is necessary for the EOF program. One thing definitely worth noting with EOF, you do have to fill out a separate application. So whereas the scholarships and other forms of aid on this page do not require a supplemental application, EOF does. So all of those details are on the EOF website. And then the last two logos on the bottom we're very proud of, our Stockton Promise and our Garden State Guarantee programs. These are grant programs that will provide eligible students with either free tuition and fees or reduced tuition and fees through a sliding scale. So to start with the Stockton Promise is for incoming first-year students and any students that have few college credits. They would be eligible for the Stockton Promise if you meet the economic criteria. So hopefully one of my colleagues will be able to put the Promise website because that does list the entire set of criteria that you do need to meet for Stockton Promise. But as it states, it does supply all free tuition and fees. That does not include housing. So if you are looking to live on campus, housing and meal plan would be an additional cost. Similarly, with the Garden State Guarantee, that is another grant program that is for students that have certain economic and financial eligibility. The one difference with Garden State Guarantee is that it's for transfer students. So if you have over 60 college credits, you would kind of fall more into the Garden State Guarantee eligibility than you would the Stockton Promise eligibility. But once again, all of the eligibility criteria are on those two websites, either the Stockton Promise website or the Garden State Guarantee website. Okay, so for those of you who are already accepted and may have zoned out during some of the earlier slides, now is your time to wake up, because this is all about what's next for you. So if you're accepted, you've gotten over the biggest hurdle. The biggest hurdle is doing your application, getting accepted. You got the big folder in the mail, so you can, take a deep breath. But after you do that, you will want to review your acceptance letter. So when you get your acceptance letter, whether it's electronically or in the mail, you will want to review that closely because it will have a lot of valuable information. It will specify whether you've been admitted directly into your program of choice, or if in some cases you may have been conditionally admitted into your program, under which case there would be additional steps that you would want to take to ensure that you are going to be directly admitted into your program. So definitely when you get that packet, look closely at it, read it, review it. And if you have any questions at all, obviously reach out to us. We're always happy to help and answer any questions that you might have. Number two, come and tour the university. I know that my colleagues have been plugging this throughout the earlier slides, but I can't emphasize it enough. If I take off my Stockton hat and I put on my just general counselor hat, the most important thing you can do, if at all possible, during your college enrollment process is to visit, because there is such a thing as a fit and a feel when it comes to picking a college. We all have great marketing departments. We all have fabulous materials that you've seen at college fairs or on the website. But until your feet are on the campus, you really don't know whether or not that school is right for you. And that was my story. I always tell this story. I was enrolling in another college initially. I won't name it, but I was looking at another university, was not planning on going to Stockton. And then an incident happened at the other university while I was visiting, and it kind of changed my mind. So I started looking elsewhere again. And thankfully I did, because I visited Stockton. And the second I walked on this campus, I just kind of felt like a breath of fresh air. I was like, okay, this is the place for me. This is where I need to be. So it really can just turn the tide that much. So if at all possible, tour not only here, but every college that you're looking at. And then we're moving on to step 3. So hopefully you come to Stockton and you feel what I felt, and you fall in love with Stockton, and you just know immediately that this is the right school for you. Your next step would be to commit. So what commit means is to put down your enrollment deposit. So that is a $250 enrollment deposit that will lock your place in the incoming class. So for any seniors, anybody on this call that's already been accepted, if you haven't yet committed to Stockton, that would be your next step, is submitting that $250 deposit. It is deducted from your first semester's tuition payment. So it isn't like an additional $250. It is deducted, but we just ask for it up first to let us know that you intend to enroll, and so that we can kind of move to our next steps with you. So that is step 3. Step 4 is access your Go portal. So honestly, this step is probably even earlier than step 4, because your Go Stockton portal kind of becomes your place, your focal point almost once you get admitted, because it's where you'll be driven to access your financial aid offer when it becomes available. If you're living on campus, you'll be driven to the Go Stockton portal to complete your housing application. So it kind of becomes your main hub almost. But if you haven't yet logged into your Go Stockton portal and you're already accepted, definitely log in. That login information is included with your acceptance packet. So your username, your password, all of that will be right in that packet of information that you received. So step 5, once you're done your senior year and you have walked across the stage and graduated and grabbed your diploma, then you have to make sure you follow up and give us your final transcripts. So those are the transcripts that you receive once you completely are done high school. So your counselor will usually take care of this for you and send them on your behalf, but just make sure that your counselor knows that you're committed to Stockton and that Stockton is the school that you picked so that they know to send those final transcripts. Also, if you took any AP tests or if you did any dual credit courses during high school, definitely make sure you follow up and send us your AP score report through College Board and or the official transcript from any colleges that you might have been enrolled in during high school. So whether those were dual credit courses or whether you were doing coursework at a local community college, definitely make sure you get us those official transcripts as well so that we can provide you credit for those courses or for those AP tests that you took. And then number 6 is your health forms. So when you got your acceptance packet, if you've already been accepted, you should have received probably about 3 to 4 sheets of paper that just cover health and immunization requirements. Some of these come from the state of New Jersey, some of them come directly from Stockton University, but definitely take a moment, review all of those health forms. There is some paperwork that you have to get filled out by your doctor or pediatrician, and then you would return those to us. So those health forms usually need to be in by July 1. There is a little bit of flexibility with those forms, but basically you have to have them on file by the time you come for new student orientation in the summer. And then number 7, if you are living on campus, you will want to complete your housing contract and application. So if you are already accepted, you can actually kind of jump to this step already because the housing application and contract for the fall of 2023 is now open. So going back to the importance of that Go Stockton portal, you will be able to access and find your housing contract and application in your portal. So like I said, if you're living on campus, you don't even have to wait until step 7. You can go ahead and do that contract and application right now. One thing to note, there is an additional deposit for housing. So to commit to Stockton, there is a $250 enrollment deposit. To commit to housing and to complete the housing process, there is an additional $150 housing deposit. And then last but certainly not least is number 8, which is new student orientation. So starting in April, all current seniors that have been admitted will get an invite from us inviting you to new student orientation. And this is pretty much your last step before you officially start and become a Stockton student. So new student orientation for transfers is usually at the end of June. For first year students, is usually spread out throughout July. For transfer students, it's usually a one-day program. For first year students, we do have an overnight experience because we think that it builds camaraderie and you get to meet a lot of your incoming, fellow first year peers. So it really helps you create friendships even before you officially are a Stockton student in September. But orientation, most importantly, is when you register for classes. So that's when you will actually sit down with an advisor and register. And there is one thing on this screen that is missing that is very important, especially for most of the first year students out there, and that is placement testing. So placement testing at Stockton is required for all first year students who did not submit SAT or ACT scores. So if you didn't supply us SAT or ACT scores at the time of admission, it's not too late. You can still forward us your test scores and we would be happy to look at them and consider them. And you may be either exempt from all placement testing if you have a 570 math SAT or 24 math ACT or higher, or if you have a 560 math SAT or lower, or a 23 math ACT or lower. then you would only be required to do the math portion of the placement testing. You would be exempt from the reading and the writing. If you don't supply us with any SAT scores or ACT scores at all, then you will most likely be required to do all 3 sections of the AccuPlacer placement test. And that would be a reading, writing, and a math placement test. So you can actually schedule your placement test now. So if you're already accepted, it's never too early. So you can either schedule an in-person placement test, or you can request a waiver to do the placement testing online. So all of that information is at the website that Grace just dropped into the chat. You can find out a lot more information, FAQs, practice tests, all of that on that website. So that is one thing that was definitely left off this slide, but I'm glad I remembered it. Okay, and last but certainly not least, there are a few additional ways to visit us. So obviously, we love connecting with you virtually. It's so convenient for all of us to be able to connect like this and, not have to leave the comfort of our own houses or our own offices in our cases. But we definitely want to meet you in person. And going back to what I said earlier, there's never anything like coming to campus and experiencing it for yourself, which is why we titled this Experience Stockton Day. So this is for admitted students only. So if you have already been admitted for the fall of 2023, first year or transfer students, we encourage you highly to sign up for this event. It's an entire event that is geared toward you. So it's very different from an open house because this is all about your next steps. You'll get to register for new student orientation during this event. You can register for placement testing if you haven't already done that. So there's a lot of opportunities to take advantage of on this day. So I can't recommend it highly enough. Okay, and otherwise, with the exception of Experience Stockton Day and Discover Stockton Day that we talked about earlier, we are always running different events. We are always doing different virtual events. So definitely don't hesitate to check us out. Go to our admissions page, go to our visit us page. You'll always be able to see what's going on. And then my last little plug is always our social media accounts. So we all are always on our phones, on our tablets, iPads, whatever. Why not check us out? It's a great way to see what's going on campus. It's a great way to get a feel of what some of our ambassadors are doing, what some of our other student groups are doing. So you can kind of experience Stockton a little bit more, once again, from the comfort of your own home. So definitely when you have some time, like I said, we're all on our phones, check it out. So all of our handles are there.
So definitely keep us in the loop, schedule appointments with us. We hope to see you at the open house. We hope to see you at our Experience Stockton Day as well. So thank you for spending your evening with us, and we hope to see you guys soon.